Well, we're here for another edition of GW Unspoken. I've got a very special guest on the line, and I've got Morgan Te Oka. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Long time no chat to you. What's been happening?
Oh, nothing much, just trying to get a leg up in the world.
I heard you're at the Gold Coast at the moment. Is that true?
I am, yeah. I'm down here on annual leave, just having a bit of a reset before we get going again for the new season.
Yeah, nice. And you got the surfboard out? Because last time I talked to you about surfing, you were scared of sharks.
Yeah.
Has it changed?
I haven't been out yet. I am still petrified, but I will go out at some point this week. That's a promise.
Yeah, it's really weird. 2 weeks ago I said, that's it, we're going for a wave, it's getting a bit warmer, and dead set the night before, Jaws is on again, and it's like, what the hell, I'm not going anywhere near the surf again. There's something about that movie. Hey, listen, just want to quickly chat. Explain your role now to all our people who are listening to the show.
Yeah, so I'm the NRLW Wellbeing and Education Officer down at the Cronulla Sharks. Nice. So pretty much my role entails is sort of it's called the biopsychosocial state, but pretty much it's about, we're making sure that everyone is feeling good and functioning well off field, understanding personal development around their own life, and then they see the fruitions of that with their on-field performance. So it's just trying to help balance and navigate that. I think in a women's perspective, it's a bit different context at the moment, just because we're not full-time athletes yet, but it's just about creating that environment for the girls, and so that they're capable of performing well.
Nice. So it's really about some self-empowerment in there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. That's cool. And so, how far have you come? It's just huge. I know I met you when you first started your teaching career. Before we get into that, I want to know what Morgan Te Oka was like when she was actually at school, as a student.
As a kid?
Yeah.
What was I? I was very sport orientated. I was very determined kid. I was the youngest of, there's three of us, two older sisters. And so in school I was, I feel like what happened as a child was that my sisters made a lot of the mistakes for me. So I was very, towed the line, always did what I was told. It was a pretty pretty sheltered journey, my childhood and my schooling journey, compared to, I guess, what we sort of see now. Yeah.
And did you enjoy school?
Yeah, I did. I did in high school. I think in that middle school stage, there was a little bit of bullying, just trying to figure out where to fit. Especially when you don't fit one certain mold. So I was really creative. I had the music side to me, but I also was sporty. So I sort of didn't really have a certain group of friends. I sort of hopped and changed a lot. So I think sometimes that put me in a space of not necessarily belonging to one particular group. And at times that sort of could cause me some bullying through that middle school stage. But then when I got to high school, it was just a bit of a smaller cohort down on the Gold Coast. It was a really small school, and I think that really helped. Made some really great friends. The school was actually quite a good experience in the back end, but that middle school period, definitely a bit of a challenging time.
Now, like you said, you had your sport, but also had your music, so too really creative. And we talked a lot about purpose and passion in the show before, but also we talked about the difference between belonging and being accepted. And we know that being accepted means you can change your traits just to fit in with a group, but belonging means that your group takes you no matter, who you are or how you act with all your flaws. That's the real friends and that real peer group you're looking for. So that sounds awesome. And now let's, I met you obviously early days of teaching. Take us back to your teaching days and I suppose you experienced doing that. I know we set up the girls program, which you absolutely led, and the girls are very upset, obviously, when you left that. But tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, luckily with you, it started my teaching journey at Redcliffe State High School, and that was my first contract that got extended. And wow, I was just such a pup when it came to teaching. You're vibrant, you're excited, super passionate about being able to change students' lives. I think growing up, because I probably didn't have a lot of people empowering me to be the best I could be. I have this deep, deep desire to do that for others and for like young women. So that was sort of a passion that fruition through the Girls Excellence program that we were able to create together. And I just think, to be honest, the people I was around, yourself, Popey, who was another incredible role model and really navigated the way of how to be an incredible teacher, how to be a kind person, how to engage and make good relationships, and I guess the importance of that at a young age, that really helped shape my teaching journey and also who I am today. So I'm super grateful for that. But I think Redcliffe's where I started my love for empowering young women. You know, that's where it really created its face and its profile.
And I remember those days. Sorry, keep going. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
No, yeah.
I was just going to say, just jump into quickly because I just want to interrupt you there because I just remember having those conversations with you and everything you sort of jumped in with two hands and you were all in no matter what we did, and you could just feel that purpose and that passion you had. And it wasn't just about, okay, let's do that. You had some really strong ideas too, and I think the girls leveraged off your energy as well in that program.
Thanks. Yeah, I fell in love with it. You know, the blank canvas, the ability to create a space for young women to thrive. I just fell in love with everything about it, the process. And I think being given that opportunity has completely created this vision for me and this purpose and drive that it was sort of there subconsciously, but, you know, you guys helped really bring that out in me and I'm so grateful for that.
And you had a massive, and I love you saying that, but you had a great rapport with, like you said, the people around in that staff room. Like it was great little mateship in there, and I think that our culture worked really well and fed off on those people. But so after all that stuff and all the great impact you had, what made you jump from the teaching career then?
I think you do get really stuck in the governance and the limitations of, you know, the political system of schools. I think it took me the full 7 years of teaching. So I was at 5 years there at Redcliffe and then I went to Marsden for 2. But it was definitely, you know, a slow learning to really understand the political backgrounds of schools. And, you know, when I'd constantly be like, why isn't that being challenged? You know, how come we're not looking at this differently? How come that this feels like the hardest way and this doesn't feel like it's what's in the best interest? And I'll never forget you and Popey always saying that to me, you know, always figuring out like what is in the best interest of the kids. If you're doing what's in the best interest of the kids, you're doing the right thing. And I think that's honestly stuck with me throughout my entire journey. And I still go back to that statement today and that question and constantly ask myself. But I think constantly managing those, you know, the solutions didn't align with the best interests of the kids. And it just made me go, no, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot be in a system that doesn't allow me to grab this with two hands and get the best out of my people. Yeah, and I'm not willing to wait. You know, I'm not willing to sit here and wait for someone above me to make a decision that's going to get the best out of our girls. And I think that frustration and determination was the thing that just made me go, this isn't beautiful and true enough for me to be here.
Yeah.
I cannot make enough impact here and I'm getting annoyed about it. What is my next level? Where do I go? And what does that look like for me? So that's what really made me start to look elsewhere was I want to get more out of more impact for my young women.
Yeah.
And I can't do it here.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I can feel your frustration. You use that word frustration about that. And no doubt you had impact and you still were having impact. But like you said, those problems of being held back. And I think like being a young, strong lady in sport and a great role model and having that great mindset you have, you can obviously feel that tension you have where, like you said, those systems can stop you from actually, and you use that word before, thriving, which I love. And the best thing what I do love about is you use that word, you know, what's in the best interest of the student. And I remember my first year of teaching out at Cloncurry near Mount Isa. We had a boss out there, Christine Norton, love her to death, probably the best principal I've had. And she just said to me, Woody, no matter what happens, this was in the first 2 weeks, if it's in the best interest of the student, I'll always back you. And I love how you've taken that on board, but also using it now in your new endeavours.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a godsend at moments where, you're really stuck where you can sit and be the yes man and you can just go along with the status quo and exactly what the traditional views look like, or you can challenge them and start to look at things differently. And every single time I'm in a space where I'm questioning something, that sits behind it. And it's something I'll constantly state too is, are we actually doing what's in their best interest right now? What does that look like? And it helps me clarify the intentions of what we're trying to achieve. So it's been a godsend, and it's really something I've been living by. So I really appreciate that. Something that stayed with me for sure.
Yeah, and I love it. I just love it. And the other thing I want to just touch on there to you, I know Anthony Robbins talks a lot about, if you're going to have a new habit or if you're going to change from old habits, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is not look for something positive, but if you hate something so much you want to change, and it sort of feels like that, you said you were stuck from the system and it wasn't giving you enough drive or purpose to make a big change. So maybe that was the thing that actually, made you jump out and go, that's it, it's time for something different. And it sounds awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Do you miss it? Do you miss teaching?
I do actually. I do. I miss having that classroom interaction. I miss having staff room interaction. It's definitely something that I think in my future I'll actually balance out, and I'll have aspects of that in my life. So I'm sort of in the bit of a movement at the moment to start to create the life I want career-wise, and it will have aspects of teaching in it because I do miss the kids, and I miss their vibrancy. I miss empowering them. I miss seeing their beautiful faces every day. I miss creating joy for them. Yeah. So I'm really excited for having that in my future, which will be really cool.
That's awesome. And you're obviously a really great educator and a great connector. So I'm going to put you on the spot here because I know these are all off-the-cuff questions and we haven't set anything up. So what's your secret? What's the secret, do you think? I mean, you've gone out of your comfort zone. You've gone down to Sydney. What's your real secret to have connections with people? What do you think is the main ingredients to have a firm connection?
I think the number one thing is to be a student of yourself. I think the only way we learn humility, the only way we learn character, good character, the only way we learn how to connect with others is when we're really able to put a magnifying glass on the type of person we are being.
Nice.
And the type of person we want to become. And I think if we're not a student for ourselves and we're not willing to change our beliefs and our views and our patterns of behaviour, then who are we to go out and connect with others and to try and get the best out of others? And I think that's been the key to change for me personally, has been every time I have gone out and had a positive impact or added value to people's lives, it was because I treated them well, and I learnt how to treat them well because I finally looked in and said, what are my values? How do I want to align my life? And then I'm working really hard every day, and I'll never get there, but every day I will work hard towards being a kind, hardworking and genuine human. Yeah. And that's because I'm willing to stick by those values, which then in turn gets the best out of other people. Yeah,
no, well, that's leadership, isn't it? People can see what you're doing and how you're leading, and you're doing that obviously from the front, which is awesome. What's so you're doing that day to day, obviously around the women's rugby league now. So what's a typical day look like for you? I guess it's a lot of variety, but is there something you sort of do daily with the girls?
Not really. My job's extremely sporadic. It can be 24/7 sometimes. It's just crazy. There's no structure to it. I create my own structure. But in regards to if I was to give you a pre-season view, it would be, our scheduled week would be set out, and we'd be doing a lot of, we'd have our camp, we'd be doing our wellbeing check-in. we do a bit of a life story narrative where I sit down with the girls just one-on-one in their own time. I'll go out to them close to home. We try and sort of break down and take away any barriers possible. And I'll just go out to them and we'll just have a bit of a chat about who I am and who they are. And it won't be too big. It won't be too pushy either. Or I won't try and press at all. It's more just to break down that first barrier of an interaction so they get to know who I am and the why. I think in the women's game, what you'll know is, you know, they're very, what's a good word to use? They're very skeptical of people who are in their game. You know, they want to know the why behind, why are you in the women's game? Are you in there because you want to see women succeed? Or are you in there for a stepping stone or you know, so they're very skeptical. So I think building trust over time is like my first point of call for my weeks. So that's just connecting as much as I can, giving them clear information, and just the more touch points I can have with them in those first, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, the relationships start to come into fruition because I go, oh, okay, she's actually here for our best interest and she's not pushy and she's not going to try and shove, you know, wellbeing strategies down their throat. It's very self-determined and it's just a really slow-moving space. But once we get into in-season, that's when we start more focusing on mental skills, high performance, anxiety, how that plays out during a week, getting ready for a game. So we turn a little bit more performance focused, and then because they've met me one-on-one, that we have those sort of relationships where we're managing their off-field home life environment on the side. But that's sort of, you know, in the gaps in their weeks that suit them between their work schedules. So it's really sporadic. I could be on a phone call at 10 p.m. at night or 7 a.m. in the morning, you know, and then the next day I'm at 3, you know, coffee catch-ups or interactions. So it just changes day by day. It's just to suit the girls.
And there's no bell telling you where to go? There's no bell telling you to the toilet? Or...
Nah, no, that's it.
Not told by the principal? No, okay. I love how you use those words, trust, kindness, you know, to build those connections, which is great. So I guess just 2 questions from that then. What's been your biggest challenge and what's been the best, probably most rewarding part of your role?
The most rewarding part of my role is seeing the quietest, most scared, anxious girl stand up, you know, 5 weeks down the track and either say the words, you know, this is not good enough in front of the group, or it's them going, I need you, or it's finding out that they reached out to T, one of our leaders. They're the moments when either our girls take care of each other on a deeper level or our babies stand up and go, no, this is the standard and the way I've been shown and I'm willing to hold others accountable because I know I belong here.
Oh, nice.
To when we've created that environment over the period of time that they feel safe enough to get up and go, you know what, and call someone out and go, hey, that's not who we are. We don't do that. This is what we do. And they're the measures. They're like the moments where I go, we are actually killing this. We are on track. And we might not be winning footy games, but that will be a byproduct down the track from the environment we will build over the next few years.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
Awesome. So that's been amazing.
That's unreal.
The biggest barrier?
Yeah.
The biggest challenges would be the narrative of women's sport.
Okay.
So it would be, at the moment, I am the only female full-time employee currently at the Cronulla Sharks. And from what I know across the board, this is in the football department.
Yep.
So in the female football department. So obviously there's not a lot of women at the moment in the game on an administrative level. And so sometimes there's this real copy-paste attitude around, well, if it's good enough for the men, it's good enough for the women. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of learning around that. And I think my challenge is because I'm passionate about the learning aspects of a female athlete, and I'm learning an incredible stuff around it when they make very quick decisions, when they have abrasive language and comments that they're not conscious of, that paint women as not on par.
Yep.
I think every day managing those small sliding door moments, language conversations, they over time just really start to have a heavy impact on your energy throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's probably my biggest barrier and challenge at the moment is just how do I show up and be the best version of myself for my people when every day I cannot hold a boundary for these people unless I either put my earphones in or walk away.
Yeah.
And it's a narrative set across the entire game because we are not full-time professionals yet. We are not at the high skill level that people sometimes perceive that we should be at. And so trying to manage those conversations internally is just exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be challenging, right? Well, what do you
Yeah,
think?
definitely.
Like, and on that, I guess, we're talking in the, what is the main aspect you think it is to build mental health that's positive? Like often people use the word mental health, but mental health doesn't necessarily have to be a negative term. So what's something you think are some of the main aspects to have a mentally strong and positive athlete?
Do you mean specifically for the one athlete or you mean more for like an organization?
I think for like athletes, even for yourself, like what makes you to have, what builds Morgan's mental health that's positive? What keeps it positive? What are the kind of activities or things that you do to look after your own mental health?
So for me, I guess when you look at like mental health and the Corey Keyes model, which is around, that flourishing, languishing, and everyone sits sort of on this, it's sort of like a Humpty Dumpty wall is how I look at it. So we all sit on the Humpty Dumpty wall because 80% of the world's managing, where we go through our day and subconsciously we sort of just manage life, Every day is sort of similar, a bit of Groundhog Day vibes, bit of social norms, okay, by the time I'm this age, I should have a house, should have children, I should look like this. Yeah. And there's all these societal expectations every year. By this age, this is what traditionally my life should look like. Yeah. And so we all sit on this Humpty Dumpty wall unless we're capable of taking ourselves to a whole nother level. So it's like, okay, well, how do I build my jetpack that shows that I'll never actually fall off the wall because I'm so far higher up that when I fall, well, I'm just sitting back down on the wall, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we get to that level? Well, it's our capability to understand where does our energy go in our life. And then if we can figure out where the energy is being negative or exhausting or causing us to be someone that's not who we truly are, they're the areas we've got to really have self-awareness around. So say like, for example, if I've got a wheel in front of you and you rated every single environment that you're in out of 10, well, there'll be one where you go, oh yeah, I'm definitely a 2 out of 10. Yeah. I'm definitely, oh man, I'm 1 out of 10, and you pick it and it's like, okay, so say we look at it, we go 2 out of 10, right? And let's say, for example, it's my physical health, my nutrition, 2 out of 10, like just not, I got work, don't have time, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, what we do is we look at, okay, well, I don't worry about giving you strategies yet because I go, well, are you the type of person that's going to action these? What human do you want to be? Because if I can figure out the characteristics you want, then we'll know whether you're going to action them or not.
Yeah.
But if you're not the right character, well, you're not going to action these things, so you're not going to change your well-being. So therefore, I can't help you.
There's no ownership there. There's no
exactly
ownership. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of we might look at energy, but at the same time, when we look at energy, it's sort of like, well, if you don't have a picture of the best version of yourself, of who you're trying to become, well, there's no point focusing on what strategy you're going to use for your physical well-being because you're not going to action it.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So it's just understanding, like, I guess it goes back to that values aligned, having an understanding of the person you're trying to become. And then from that, okay, well, if Morgan was hardworking and genuine, well, she would probably be more inclined to work harder to be better organized and have her meals planned on a Sunday to be ready for the week for her nutrition.
Yeah.
And then if she's not doing that, well, that's fine. You're just not trying to be hardworking, so you're not living by the values that you're trying to live by.
Yeah, I like that. I like that ownership. That's really good. That's nice. And what about we're going to be a bit personal here. What about you? What if you're having a bad day? If you're feeling down or whatever, if you're away from home, or maybe some of the things didn't work out like you want to do throughout the day, is there a go-to that you do to help with your positive mental health?
Yep, I call my circle.
Yeah.
So I've got a circle. I call them my marble jar friends, because they're people who have built a marble jar worth of trusting moments over time.
Yeah.
And I'll call a marble jar person because we have a rule like no one cries alone.
Yeah.
So if I'm just struggling, I'll definitely get in touch straight away with someone who I just need to show I need empathy. I need just someone to sit next to me for those moments and just go, yeah, this is really tough. Not try and fix it, not try and sympathize, just sit there with me. And, I talk to them and they just listen. They don't try and fix things or create solutions. They just listen.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, that's really tough. I'm here for you. And then I think from that, music's another one of my strategies. I've got 2 pretty clear playlists at the moment that are my go-tos if I'm having a bad day. That always seem to perk me up if it's nothing too heavy. But I think anything heavy, then it's definitely straight to my inner circle for sure. And I'll have, 5 people, on speed dial that, I'll pick up for them, they'll pick up for me. And it's definitely my go-to for sure.
The 5 people you hang around, isn't it? It's always talk about the influence of the first 5 people you hang around. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the next step for Morgan? What's your goals and aspirations? Do you have some, or you're in a holding period to try and perfect your craft where you're at now?
Yes, both. I think one of my biggest aspirations will be to create the best high performance wellbeing program for the Australian Jillaroos. That's definitely one of my aspirations. And the second one would be to just build my own career. So down the track, I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's just building a platform where I'm still learning, but I'm also creating some type of environmental space for young women who are maybe transitioning into elite sport or at the age where they might be capable or have the potential to transition into elite sport. And then I help give them those wellbeing tools and those mental skills to help refine the athlete that they're trying to become. And I think if I can get to them more when they're at that age of transition, well, then we're not going to be, we're not going to follow the men's narrative of managing all these huge mental health issues at the end of their career or at the point of their loss, when they don't get selected, when they get dropped out of the system, when they get career-ending injuries. We're going to have more who are manageable, who can understand their own health and well-being, who are knowledgeable enough to put these incredible pillars around them that they are so worthy away from the game that they're going to be in a better space no matter what.
Yeah, nice. And is that one of the biggest challenges in the women's rugby league? Is it a lot of sort of comparisons and, is there much negative self-talk? We just did a topic recently with our HPE class about, sociology in sport and sports coverage, media, sponsorship, all that kind of stuff. Is there still is it us versus them with the women's game? How is it sort of situated at the moment?
I think with women, females' number one shame trigger is body image and not being enough.
Yeah.
So managing that not enoughness. And I think, the age of 10 is what I've heard previously from study is the age where they go from, that understanding of what I love and my hobbies to trying to fit in, that fitting in culture and that understanding peer pressure. And I think because there is this huge narrative in schools of fitting in and looking a certain way. And obviously social media and technology is just creating a much deeper hole for that for young women.
Yeah.
You know, the low self-worth is getting lower, and the more issues around fitting in culture and the compare and compete narrative is becoming more and more toxic because our girls do not feel enough. You know, it's not enough to just be yourself and authentic. You need to look a certain way, act a certain way, be fit in a certain way, because, like, you know, we're human beings. Like, we are literally wired to fit in groups. That's how we've survived over millions of years. So, of course, our brains are set up to try and fit in and mold and adjust ourselves to make sure we're a part of a group.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because of social media and the way they perceive women, you know, that not enoughness is just becoming absolutely, like, flooding our girls to the point where, you know, they have social media accounts. They don't even post a photo of themselves because they are so worried and anxious about the ridicule and all of the criticism that they're going to receive for posting one of their own authentic, true photos on their own account. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's a massive issue obviously everywhere, but the body dysmorphia, and there are hundreds of stories, you know, through schools and that, and a lot of times we have across the pastoral desk a lot of, you know, students who are they're having problems with their friendship group, and a lot of it is to do with social media they bring into schools. And it's such a shame that those real authentic connections, I mean, you said it, they're not the real connections. And we talked about junk values versus real values and all those things, but like you said, people want to be part of a group, and stereotypically it's a lot around our girls. Our girls are usually addicted to social media. Our boys stereotypically to gaming. I know that changes a little bit, but that's what the research is showing. So it is, and I love that word you said, that not enoughness. I think there needs to be an awareness out there for people to be mentors to help these young girls, especially.
Yeah, well, it's that marketing narrative. You know, women are making money now off posting that picture of themselves. You know, and I just think it's the same for men. You know, that they've got their own. You know, for men, the biggest shame trigger is to not have control, to not be in control, to not be able to manage their own life.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that toxic masculinity, like, that's getting massive there for men. So it's not, you know, it's not just us, but in saying that, there is definitely not enough out there currently in the school systems that is there to help create good character and true authentic connections for our people so that they are safer when they're managing social media.
100%. There's going forever about social media. It's a massive bug ball in what we talk about here, but that's huge. A little bit lighter. Do you have a most? Oh, by the way, let's go back a little bit. This is annoying me now. The other day on TV, saw you in the Australian kit. I thought you were actually running on and playing. Are you still playing?
I just play like socially I play sevens. Yeah, I just play down in Sydney for a local team.
Nice.
Baronier. We've done a few travelling trips we did Dubai sevens and just a few trips here and there. But yeah, just for fun now. Like, I'm very much over being yelled at, to be honest, or trying to hit a high performance target on the field. So I'm just like, every now and then when I've got, you know, my spare time or I just want to do something for me, I'll go and jump in and play, which is great. So that's the awesome thing about sevens is it's, you know, a 1-day tournament every 3 or 4 weeks on a Sunday. So it just fits in perfectly, which is nice.
Yeah, nice. But you're also helping out the Australian team, aren't you?
Yeah, the Australian Delaroos. Yeah, I'm with the rugby league women at the moment, awesome. Which has been amazing, and it's going to be a very exciting next 4 years getting ready for the World Cup.
That is so good. Do you have a most annoying player or funniest practical joker in your team?
No one's.
No one you want to throw under the bus here?
No one I'm going to throw under the bus. None of them are annoying, but man, they can say some absolutely silly stuff sometimes that you just think to yourself, like, how did that come out of your mouth? Like, but they're pretty funny girls. Like, I really enjoy them.
You can hear it in your voice. Tell us quickly about, I'm going to jump around a bit here. Tell us a bit about your podcast.
Oh, yeah, challenge her. So it was in COVID, actually. I I sat down with my mentor, Glenn Azar, and we were sitting there for quite a while, just having conversations week in, week out, just around, I guess, both of our ambitions aligned to getting the best out of youth, and mine's obviously more on a women's platform. So we were just sitting there all the time, and he just said, you're learning so much, you're reading a lot, you're putting it into practice. I think if you want to get better at this, it's really good to regurgitate it. And I think if you start your own podcast, what a better way. You're sharing what you're learning. It doesn't hurt anyone. It only adds value, but it also keeps you accountable to learning.
Love it.
And that was literally how it started. He goes, if you're going to commit to this and you're going to put in the effort, I'll help you get it started. So we had, it was about 2 weeks in total, and he helped me get like an intro and outro to it. And I started, and he goes, okay, so let's organize some interviews. And it just was an incredible way to help me articulate how I felt about things, keep me accountable to learning new knowledge, expressing content that helps young women, navigating how to question people and how to have good conversations and connecting with others. And it's helped me immensely. Just that public speaking, I'm now able to, be down at the Sharks, and when they want to have interviews with the young players, they're getting me involved because they know I can articulate myself, I can explain things, I can give good examples of what we're trying to achieve. And it's all from speaking more regularly through the podcast, which has just been the biggest asset, I guess, to my learnings over the last few years.
Well, when I found out you were doing a podcast, and I tuned in straight away, I could just straight away hear your language had changed, but also some of the things that you said, like we're both readers, and some of the things you were getting from certain books were not the things I was getting at, and it made me actually think about, hey, yeah, I didn't actually pick that up, but that's awesome. Now I know where Morgan got that from. How can I, use that in my life to influence others? So it was definitely had a bearing on me too. So I love it. It's awesome.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, Woods.
All right. All right, ready for some fun?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Here we go. Hey, so you've grown so much. It's unbelievable just to hear, and I don't mean that patronising way. It's so good to hear some of the things you said about, the men's game, but also the women's game, and, about the mental health side. You're doing such a good job. You're such a positive influence there, and I don't think sometimes the mark you leave on people straight up. So it's just amazing. You just hear it in your voice, your passion, so I love it. I want to ask you these questions very quickly, and you've only got 1 second to answer each one, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay. Here we go. You ready? This is going to be, what time is it? 8:50, not past your bedtime. Okay, we can do this. Right, here we go. Favourite food?
Ice cream.
Does that count as a food?
Surely. There'll be a lot of people out there that would agree with me.
Okay. Favourite drink?
Lemonade.
What's your favourite leisure activity?
Oh, rugby.
Okay.
Hands down.
What's your favourite? You going to the gym? What's your favourite exercise?
Squat.
Oh, typical. Okay, fine, no worries. What's your favourite human trait of a person?
Kindness.
Nice. You mentioned that earlier. I love that. What's your favourite movie at the moment?
The Holiday. It's because it's Christmas coming up, and it's always one of my favourite movies.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Who's in that one?
Jude Law, Cameron Diaz. Oh my, Kate Winslet. It's a banger. Jack Black.
He's like knows back the front. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite
many times.
Favorite song or song style?
Acoustic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite item of clothing?
Joggers.
That was a bit random, wasn't that question? That sort of came from nowhere. Sorry about that. Joggers. Okay. And are you a Nike person?
No, I'm a Hoka person now.
What's that?
And did you know Hokas, they're professional running shoes. But I only need them because I just have really bad feet. But
show my age. What is that? That's just the best runners you can get out there, no worries.
Hokas are they're like clouds on your feet. You really got to go to like an athlete's foot and try on some Hokas, and you'll be like, oh my God.
Are you sponsored by Hokas?
No. But you know what I did find out? Hoka Nui is fight in Tongan.
Hoka Nui sounds like a swear word. Hoka Nui.
I know.
Okay.
I think so.
Not bad.
Wait, is it? I don't know. Yeah.
Here's one for you. You must have heaps of these. What's your go-to joke at the moment?
I don't have jokes.
You know, like every time I podcast on,
I'm not a joker. I'm a sarcastic. I'm not a joker though.
You're not?
I'm not quick enough. Nah. I'll definitely pay you out, but I'm not very good at jokes.
So you're quick-witted, yeah. I believe that. I remember those days. I actually had a lesson plan today, and I put 4 things up on the board, and it was like check in, what you're grateful for, any questions on the assignment, and then dad joke. And never wanted to go to the dad joke, but it wasn't actually mine; it was Rachel's. But the joke was, how did the butcher introduce his wife?
How?
Meet Patty. Don't laugh at that. That's terrible. It's hideous. It's not as good as mine. Anyway. All right, here we go. Quickly, word association game. I'm going to give you a word. You have to tell me the first thing that comes in your mind. Ready?
Okay.
Coffee.
Tea.
Alcohol.
Drink.
Kale.
Spinach.
Tuna.
Cat.
I'm going to go back to the serious stuff in a minute. Lollies or chocolate?
Chocolate.
How do you feel about your well-being role at the moment?
Good.
Rude people.
Hate them. I don't hate. Hate's such a strong word.
Challenging. Women's rugby league.
Love it.
Living in New South Wales.
Hate it.
And Morgan's just out of a job. She's going to come work for the Broncos. Perfect. Sleep.
Love sleep.
Yeah, nice. All right. You ready for this? 2 questions to go. Yeah. You're doing really well, by the way. It's really good. You're on an island right now, and you're allowed to take 3 people with you. Who are they?
Okay. It depends. What's the outcome? Am I to survive? I can't get off the island? You
can't just bring someone who builds you a hut and keeps you safe, okay? It's just going to be 3 people you want to be around.
Okay. I'd bring my 2 sisters.
Nice. That counts as 2, by the way.
Yep, that's fine. I'll bring those 2, and I will also bring Glenn, my mentor.
I love it.
Because he's ex-army and he could probably
he would save the day.
Create something out of nothing.
He'd build a raft like Castaway. Wilson. It'd be too easy.
That's it.
I like that. Actually, we have a question too. If you were stuck on a deserted island, and you could only live off one fruit, what would it be?
Mango.
Would it really? See, I think bananas. Give you substance.
I mean, look, bananas would be the nutritious idea, but mango gal.
Nice. Okay. All right. Last question. I left the best to last. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is going to a massive build up here. This is the be all and end all.
Okay.
You've got your last $10. What are you buying?
Ice cream.
Again, no, you keep talking about ice cream. That was one of the first things you said. So what's with the ice cream? What's the flavour ice cream?
Honestly, just any ice cream.
I can't see you having ice cream. You're a fitness freak. I can't even see you having ice cream.
No, since I was a kid, ice cream cake every birthday. It's just my go-to. Loved ice cream. Okay. Any flavour. Loved it. Yeah.
I love it. Look, I want to thank you for joining the show. You're a legend, and I miss you. I miss seeing you every single day. We used to be in the staff room, and I know the boys do too. I'm so proud of what you're doing, and you're doing such a massive impact down there with the girls, but also being a strong role model. And I always look forward to seeing you on the TV and you can just see the smiles on your faces. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Woods. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you and everything you've done for me. No, my pleasure. So excited to see you guys and the family, and I hope everything's been going well.
Thank you.